Hola y bienvenidos a Deuces Wild Bitches!
Yes, we are back for another Tuesday night episode.
Dude, you know what, man? As I was out there on the court playing pickleball this afternoon with Biscuit, I kind of got that feeling, I looked down at my watch and it's like 4:45. And so I know in order to try to get back here and get on time, I got to be back by at least 5:30. I like hopping in the shower before, get a little steam action, do some dopamine jumps, ready to rock. Bro, I really enjoy my Tuesdays. Like, this wasn't like the drag. Fuck, man, I got to go home and do the show. It was, this is exciting. That's a good thing, Thrill, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely a good thing. I mean, good Lord. I mean, that's the one thing I did this morning. I had a few errands I had to run this morning and all that sort of stuff. First thing I wrote down on my list of things to do, no filter, 8 p.m. I'm getting to the point now, we're building up to the baseball, now that we're at the end of the football season and building up to the baseball, I'm getting excited too.
Well, first thing I want to talk about, just because you're wearing the jersey and you see the number 24 hanging behind me, the Giants, they sent us these badass Willie Mays jerseys. So beyond grateful for the jersey, but explain, Thrill, why'd they send them to us?
So the Giants got in touch with me and they said, hey, we're trying to do a little something for Willie Mays, the greatest of all time, the GOAT. And they said, hey, would you give us a little plug, on the Deuces Wild on Tuesday? And I said, sure. They said, we coming out with a jersey, and if you didn't mind, you and Eric could wear them. And so, they got you one, they got me one. I'm sporting it. I'm loving life right now, and it's supporting Willie Mays, the greatest that ever was.
And that then becomes a question, because he certainly is in that conversation. It's Babe Ruth, and then after Babe Ruth, you hear the name Ted Williams, you hear the name Stan Musial. When they talk about all-around greatest player, though,
yeah,
I'm not sure if there was a better all-around player. Ty Cobb is a name that comes up frequently, totally different era. Obviously, Bonds in our era and what you and I both witnessed. But shit damn, dude. This guy, go back and look at the numbers. What a fucking beast.
No. And, before they started terming everything, instead of just being a freaking great baseball player, he was the first 5-tool player. And they didn't have that, saying back then, but he was the first and by far one of the greatest 5-tool players. And, I was fortunate enough to be around the ballpark with him quite a bit, got a chance to learn a ton of knowledge from him. And, we've told stories about it before, but I'm going to say it again. Kevin Mitchell was giving him a little grief in spring training one year, and Willie and Willie McCovey both were doing kind of the special assignment gigs, and Kevin Mitchell was giving him a ration of grief, and Willie Mays said, give me a bat, and he jumped in there. Third swing, he went over the batter's eye in spring training, and he had been retired for, I don't know how long he'd been retired for. I don't know, 15, 20 years, whatever it was. And I had to go up to Boogie Bear and say, hey, Boogie Bear, will you stop getting on the greatest that ever was? I mean, he's showing us up. I mean, we're doing stuff every day, and he's still better than we are.
So, Thrill, basically, I've been done for like 10, 15 years, right? It's the same as saying that I'm hanging around the batting cage, and all of a sudden, I'm talking some shit with the players. They're like, Byrnes, you can't hit. I'm like, dude, give me the fucking bat. I take the bat, get in there, and not only go Yahtzee, but go over the fucking batter's eye. It's unthinkable.
Batter's eye, third swing. I was there, witnessed it, the whole thing.
The batter's eye, for those who are unfamiliar, typically is at least 40 feet tall. The batter's eye is also in center field, which in Arizona at least is 410 plus.
Yeah.
So we're talking like a 450, 460 foot shot after the dude had been retired for 15 years.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. One of the things that I really enjoyed was Mike Murphy, our longtime clubhouse guy. You know him extremely well. He's one of my partners. He and Willie have a special bond. They have a special bond till this day. And he made sure that Willie was in spring training every year. And they set up a table for Willie in spring training. And you literally could walk up and sit down and talk to Willie Mays whenever you wanted. And it was some of my greatest memories, especially being in spring training and, kind of getting the season going and picking the brain of one of the best that's ever played the game.
One of the coolest things that I saw was one of the Giants self-produced videos that they did. And I don't know what they called it, Giants TV or whatever it was, but it was Willie talking to all the guys who had come to San Francisco. None of these guys had been in the big leagues yet. It was all the guys that had been drafted, basically guys that would, go to instructs or whatever. So the Giants bring him in to the ballpark, put him through his workout, but they have Willie there, and they introduce him, Thrill, as a 20-time All-Star. And it just, I had to go and look it up. I'm like, dude, that doesn't make sense. 20-time All-Star.
A 20-time All-Star, and you and I just barely got into the teens as far as years we played, and he's a 20-time All-Star.
All right, dude, before our time expires on our Bet Online read, let's make sure we hit our title sponsor, Bet Online, the number one online gambling destination, as the Super Bowl is right around the corner now. Both the AFC and NFC championship games in the books. Let's not forget about the NBA season, the NHL season. College hoops are firing. Bet Online. It is the place to lay all of your action. Get up-to-date news, scores, trends, odds, all of it right there. But wait, there's more, because if you enter the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV, they will give you 50% off your first deposit. Bet Online, where all the degenerates hang out.
And since we introed that, bet on your 49ers, because I'm telling you right now, that was one of the things, we really enjoyed having the 49ers come in the clubhouse. They were gracious enough to let us come in the clubhouse. It was a mutual admiration society, and I am pulling for the 49ers. Go Niners.
So, Thrill, as a kid, I've told you the stories. I used to go out to Candlestick Park, and we had season tickets to the Niners games. And so the routine was pretty simple. We'd roll by Roberts Market. We then would, load up. I'd get a roast beef sandwich with pepper jack cheese on Dutch Crunch bread. My dad was getting a turkey and avocado sourdough. And then I'd get a big thing of Coke, right? Just jack me up for the day. I even remember one time my dad let me get a fucking Jolt. So you remember Jolt?
Oh, yeah, I remember Jolt. You bet your ass I do.
Liquid crack for a 12-year-old.
That was the anti-Eric Byrnes sleeping medicine.
Oh, it's so good, man. So anyhow, we go up there, and my dad had a big F-350. He drove a work truck from Acoustalite. And anyhow, we pulled the tailgate down, bust out the sandwiches, the chips, and I had my Jolt or my Coke, and he would pop a bottle of white wine.
Oh.
So, here tonight in celebration with a double sky point to Jim Burns, we're going to bust open this Fit Vine bottle. Now, in Thrill, they're not a sponsor of the program, but I just want to say They fucking should be, man.
They should be. They should be
running.
because the guy who's on the label mirrors our host with the most, Eric Byrnes' body.
If this isn't me,
that's
literally, it's a fucking guy running, and he's got the glass of wine in his hand. It's the ultimate. I play for the tie, right? I work out so I can drink at night.
That is so you. That's awesome.
So if you haven't tried Fitvine, highly recommend it. It's not expensive at all. There's supposed to be less sugar in here. The hangover is non-existent. I drink a bottle of this, no problem. Don't even think about it. Wake up the next day ready to rock and fucking roll. So,
hey, Fitvine, come to us. My man EB, he will be representative to your product, and we will get you on Deuces Wild if you go to my man EB.
Damn right. All right, Thrill. So the next memory I have just is so vivid when I was a kid, and a 49er fan. My dad took me to the Super Bowl. It was in New Orleans. I was 13 years old on Bourbon Street. Rollerblades that just came out. They were a thing. And so I was rollerblading all over fucking New Orleans in those shit streets, man. It wasn't a great combination. But one of the people I ran into walking on Bourbon Street at this point, I was with Barbara Barnum, and boom, there it was. The Thrill and a posse of like 6 dudes. Who was with, I'm sure you don't remember, but who was with you rolling down Bourbon Street? This is 1989, 1990, man, the height of your fucking
popularity. Yeah, no, that was all of my partners from the Bay Area. Phil Cardinale, Louis Zocchi. Matter of fact, one of our guys who are in the chat room most of the time is Tommy Aliotti. He was down there too. And that was when the 49ers played in the Dome down there and did the shellacking. And those guys came in town. They stayed with me. We went out and drank and partied and all that for I couldn't even tell you how many days in a row. And, man, they left town. They needed to get some sleep. I can tell you that. New Orleans wore them out.
55-10 walloping. I remember that first play to Jerry Rice, and it was just like, after that, it was over, man.
Yep.
Absolutely fucking demolished the Denver Broncos.
Yep. No. Denver had some high hopes coming in, and from the get-go, it was downhill after that. So,
okay, so we've talked about the Jennifer Montana story. We've told it too many times already.
Yeah.
There's a jersey that I have back here that, it speaks to my heart.
Go ahead. Break it out. Oh, yeah.
When you think about Dwight Clark Thrill, because I know you guys weren't only friends when you played in San Francisco and you were with the Giants, and obviously he was with the Niners, but long after, you guys were working together with our guy Bob Cheney and Pace Supply.
That's correct. And, Dwight was the one that got me in touch with those guys. And, we had remained friends for a long time. And every time I saw him, he kind of dropped whatever he was doing and, gave me a big hug. It was vice versa. I did the same thing. And just a mutual admiration society. He was, as you well know, he's known for the catch, but he was one of the guys who, and I'm not up to date on football really well, but he was one of the guys that ran the pass patterns that nobody wanted to run over the middle because he knew he was going to get shellacked, and he went over there and did it anyway and made a hell of a living and was an unbelievable athlete. One of Joe Montana's most prized targets, and it's hard to see him go. Rest in peace, Dwight. But just a stud of a human being.
Hanging around the whole Pace Supply group that weekend, and whether it was Lamont Tonelli or you or Bob, hearing you guys talk about Dwight, and I remember specifically Bob, man, dude, the guy seemed like the greatest human ever lived. Like
he was so, so down, yeah, he was so down to earth, and he would even be kind of self-deprecating, like as in, oh, I wasn't that good. I was just a piece of the puzzle. It was like, no, dude, you are a major piece of the puzzle. And, there's a reason Joe threw you that ball that day, So, I mean, hey, look, he's a superhuman being, and God's got a good one on his side up there. But, we miss him. Bob Cheney has since retired from Pace Supply, and I still keep in touch with Bob, but I'm still doing all the stuff. I'll be seeing Battleborn in Reno this year. I'll be doing that as I normally do this year, and kind of go from there.
Did you get a chance to watch the 49ers comeback against the Lions?
You know what? I did not, but it didn't surprise me. Everybody, I don't know why. This kid Purdy, just keeps doing the right things all the time, and everybody keeps talking bad about him, and he's not your prototypical this and not your prototypical that. All he does is win. It's like Joe and Steve Young. That's all he did was win. That's all you're supposed to do. Don't turn the ball over and let your team have a good shot. And that's what Purdy does, man. He's awesome.
Just because I think it's the coolest picture I've ever seen. Do you happen to have the one with you and Dwight and Joe?
Yeah, I got it right here. Hang on.
In the dugout.
Yeah.
I like, bro, I'm going to post that on behalf of Deuces Wild.
All right.
It's just, you look at that, and if you grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area in the 1980s, this picture right here is just fucking everything.
That's the old thrill in the middle, flanked by Dwight and Joe. And, needless to say, I got the eye black on, so it's right there before the Wago is going to start. Those boys showed up, and like I said, it was a mutual admiration society, man. It was so good having those guys around.
So part of me sees that as the boyhood fan that I was, right? The kid that's looking up to those three guys, and man, it would have been my everything to been in that dugout. And then the other part of me looks at that, and you don't need to respond to this at all, but I try to imagine what the three of you could have done on a night on the town in the marina in San Francisco in your fucking heyday, man. Holy shit.
Well, so I was single. Joe was married, and I don't know where Dwight was in his relationship, but he was known as a ladies' man. So it'd have been a fun night out on town.
All Dwight had to do was open his mouth with that accent. The South Carolina charm.
Oh yeah. Plus on top of that, he's 6'4", 6'5", and just like drop dead gorgeous too. So I mean, he had the whole package.
He really did. I mean, he had supermodel good looks.
Yeah.
And then you back that up. You know who I talked to for a long time together. I don't know how much time you spent with him, but we're going to get him on No Filter Network tomorrow morning on the Daily Hustle, is Michael Zagaris, the longtime San Francisco 49ers photographer, still working for them now, longtime photographer for the A's. Just a Bay Area legend.
Michael was around all the time in spring training. He was in our dugout just as much as he was in everybody else's. And Mike and I got to be good friends. But I mean, when you spend that much time and you're that close to the athletes, and your job is to take pictures of them, make them look good, and then get their cooperation and stuff like that. You got to like a little working bond with them. So Mike had a good relationship with the Giants, the A's, the Raiders, 49ers. So he was really good.
He has a book out that's just a bunch of pictures that he took through the years. He took probably my favorite picture of of me. Of course, it's whatever. Like this show's always better when we can bring it back to me. But I'm sitting in the in the training room in Boston, and it's in the middle of that like just wild series against the Red Sox, and I'm bloodied and my knees jacked up, and I like the behind the scenes shit is incredible. And so he was telling me that earlier this year he had a shot like that of Christian McCaffrey, said similar sort of thing, and I guess the Niners came down on him. They're like, Z, you can't take that shot. Like those are the shots. That's why he's fucking there, man, to capture those moments that the fans don't get to otherwise see.
Well, and then not only that, I mean, why would the 49ers come down on him for that? Because if they release that picture, more fans would love McCaffrey even more for seeing what he went through on a daily basis and the grind that he went through and all that. They'd appreciate it more. So why they didn't go with it, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a few other things we want to talk about, but I had every time you and I get on the show, I jump on the other computer, and then I go to the Giants website, and it has Ross Stripling has a new weapon in his arsenal. It's called the death ball. And I go, what the hell is this? These guys are renaming shit. All right. So this is what he says on the computer. Let me read it for you. Please. He says, I'm throwing the death ball, which is essentially an inefficient spinning slider, which in our vocabulary is a fucking cement mixer.
A hanger.
Okay. From my arm angle, which is really high, if you can cut the efficiency of the spin, it basically can't move horizontally. And so the only way it has to move is vertically up and down. So it's kind of a funky downward hard slider that guys from high arm angles are trying to figure out. I've never heard of anything. I've never heard of a pitcher throwing an inefficient ball and wanting to get away with it. All I can tell you is there are some guys that throw a flat slider, and then there's some guys that throw a slider that bites. Evidently, he's trying to make it bite a little bit more. You don't have to rename it, Ross. All right, I'm going to be in the clubhouse with you. I'm going to say the same thing to you. All right, it's up to the hitter to figure out where it goes, and then there you have it.
So you and I both know the term backup slider, right? The slider that doesn't break.
There you go.
Moves the other way. And that can be an efficient pitch if you're able to control that and do that. It's a ballsy pitch, though.
Yeah.
Because if for whatever reason it doesn't get that backup and it just stays there, it's going to get fucking tattooed, man.
It's going to get nuked. Because what you're basically doing is, let's say Eric Byrnes is throwing 94 and he's throwing a 84, 83 mile an hour slider. All of a sudden now you're throwing a 83, 84 mile an hour slider that's just spinning and it's not biting, and it just becomes a BP fastball, and guys annihilate those.
Hey, so Thrill, speaking of the Giants, they got 5 prospects here that potentially could make their debut with San Francisco in 2024. Let's run through them, if that's okay. And
yeah, go ahead. I'm with you.
Carson Wisenhunt, left-handed pitcher.
Yep. He went, zipping through the minor leagues last year. He started in low A, spent part of the year there, was just dominating, went to Eugene, and they wound up in Double A, Richmond. And then he had a little elbow problem that sort of sidelined him, for the rest of the year. But he was on the fast track going up. He was on the kind of fast track like a Kyle Harrison. So big left-hander, really good changeup. That's his pitch, above average changeup.
Number 2 here, Mason Black.
Mason Black. Here's a guy that is probably a nice little sleeper. Good velocity, 94, 95. Got the sinker and the four-seamer, big sweeper breaking ball. A guy that likes to take the mound. Very, very into the game. I mean, he is jacked the whole time. He's a Eric Byrnes on the mound. And, I've seen Mason really good, and I've seen him okay, but when I saw him really good, it's pretty much a nice look.
3.71 ERA, 155 strikeouts, and only 52 walks over 123 innings. Dude, that plays at any level.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
and that's between AA and AAA, which is your two toughest leagues.
Okay, the next one we got here, Eric Miller, apparently acquired from the Phillies in exchange for Junior Marte last January. He had a 2.45 ERA with 88 strikeouts, 45 walks over 62 innings, 54 relief appearances. It sounds like this Stanford product could be a guy that could be coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah. I mean, right now we only got Taylor Rogers from the left side in the bullpen. So, he's probably going to get a pretty good look, especially after he had a pretty decent year after coming over in the trade. So I have not seen him throw in person, but looking forward to it in spring training.
Kai Wei Teng.
Okay. All right. This guy I have seen a ton. I mean, a ton. Right-handed pitcher, big guy, like 6'3", 6'4". He's a slider happy fanatic. He loves his slider, but he's got two of them. He's got the little short one and he's got the big one. And he uses the little short one to get strikes, and then he uses the big one to punch guys out. As long as he cuts his walks down, he's actually going to be in contention.
Trevor McDonald, 22 years old.
I do not know Trevor McDonald. Oh, he was in San Jose.
It says he was dominant when healthy, only 14 appearances, but he had a 1.33 ERA, 51 strikeouts over 47 innings between rookie and high A. Despite the small sample size, the Giants saw enough to add him to the 40-man roster. So I guess these are all guys on the 40-man.
Yeah, these look like these all guys on the 40-man that they're going to give a pretty good look at. So pretty interesting. I don't know anything about McDonald, but the other guys, like I said, I've seen with the exception of Miller.
Okay, yeah, it says the Giants still saw enough to add him to the 40-man to protect him from the Rule 5 draft pick. So these are all, let me correct myself, because they're all pitching prospects that we can see in 2024. Hey, Thrill, let's get into this real quick, because I know last week you wanted to talk about it. We didn't have time to talk about it. I came up with my list of the top 11 baseball movies.
Top 11 baseball movies, according to Eric Byrnes. Number 11, Moneyball. And he said that he had problems watching it, and then he finally watched it, and whatever. He's in it, so you gotta love the fact that you're in a movie. Number 10, Summer Catch. I personally have not seen it, but I get it why you say you like Summer Catch, because you got Jessica Biel's ass in it. So there you go. I mean, I get it. You even mentioned this on number 9, Cobb, otherwise known as Ty Cobb. Like you said, it was a little dark, but it just represented a fabulous baseball player.
Hey, real quick on that, Thrill, my favorite. Number 1, let me get a couple things in here. The Summer Catch movie was actually based after my 1995 Cape Cod League baseball team. So the producer came out and watched us. And so if you ever watch the movie, which I doubt you would, But if you
You talking about when you were in Chatham? Talking about when you were in Chatham?
Oh yeah, 1995
Really?
Chatham A's team, and so I was the kid that was struggling, and I wanted to go home, and I was a California kid, but I was a personable guy, and but I had trouble controlling my emotions, and I befriended the Freddie Prinze Jr. character, which was the local kid, a guy by the name of, in real life, his name's Peter Princey. So my character was actually played by Matthew Lillard. And Matthew Lillard, if you remember, was the psycho killer in Scream. And he was also Shaggy in Scooby-Doo. So good, man. So that's why I put Summer Catch in there and Jessica Biel's hot ass. The next one, Cobb, my favorite scene in Cobb, and this, again, is probably a little fucked up, is when he's 3 sheets to the wind and he hops in his rig and he's like, come on, Stumpy, we going to Reno to get some hookers. And he's like, like this on the road, driving like a fucking madman. So good, dude. So good. And it's just, I mean, I know the drive from here to Reno. I couldn't imagine what it was like back then with the highways or lack of highways and everything else. So yeah, that hits home a little bit though, the Cobb one, and it is disturbing.
I got you. All right. And so then you went from Cobb, you went to number 8 was 42, the Jackie Robinson story, which, pretty much says it all. That's all you need to know about that. Number 7, you had For the Love of the Game. That's the Kevin Costner movie where he's an older player. He's in his last start, and he's got a perfect game going. And I thought that was pretty cool that you picked that one.
I love that.
Number 6. All right, here's where we go. Number 6, you had Bull Durham. All right, so I get it, but Bull Durham's up my list. I'm just letting you know. So we're gonna finish your list, and then I'm gonna turn it around on you.
Okay, I can't wait to hear your list.
Okay, number 5, you had Field of Dreams. Awesome movie. I really enjoyed it from a baseball player standpoint in the history of the game. I thought it was cool. Number 4, Major League. Ricky Vaughn, baby. Oh, yeah. And Willie Mays, Hayes, and oh God, unbelievable. So let's see, number 3, Bad News Bears. You like Kelly Leak hitting dongs, riding in the pickup truck, smoking a schmag. I'm loving it. Nice. Number 2 for you was The Natural. Ooh, Robert Redford. Going into the light towers with all kinds of explosions going on and everything.
You had a Sports Illustrated cover titled The Natural, dude. Come on, man. Holy fuck balls. That thing's got to be number 1 on your list.
And then number 1 on your list was 61. So you into the Roger Maris.
It was so cool to watch the interaction. I thought Billy Crystal drilled it. I think he spent enough time around the ballpark because his dad was in the entertainment industry. Yeah. And so Billy, as a kid, used to hang around Mantle and Maris, and he knew how they interacted. And so this wasn't him guessing. This was him being there and seeing it and knowing it. And he got the right baseball guys. For example, Tom Candiotti played Hoyt Wilhelm, who was the knuckleballer. They fucking drilled it.
He nailed it. Tom nailed it because Tom had an awesome knuckleball anyway. So he definitely drilled it for sure.
Yeah, it's just everything in the movie, the way they interacted, the shit about the fan mail. And you have Mickey going, dude, why the fuck are you opening this stuff? Which is like what most Major League Baseball players would say. And here's, Roger Maris going, well, because, Mick, like, what if there's a little kid in there that, like, really needs my help? And it's just like, and it was so true. And we've all been Mickey, right?
Yeah.
But we've all been Roger. And like I saw myself in Mick, and I also saw myself in Roger, and then I saw myself in Whitey Ford, and just being the guy like the handler to the superstar and trying to get that guy under control. And it just, dude, I think about the movie. I just got the chills, man. I did.
I got it. All right. So that was your list. And look, you made very valid points. So here we go to the other side of things. All right. So for the thrill, first and foremost, numero uno is Bull Durham. All right. Okay. The reason being, whoever was the baseball dude that told them what goes on in the clubhouse, what goes on the field, what goes on off the field, what goes on on the pitchers' meetings on the mound, that dude knew it all. And I mean, you just can laugh. I mean, yeah, we got to get candelabras and a fried chicken. There's one of them. Him making up nicknames for everybody like Nuclear Loose and Meat, just calling everybody Meat. How many guys get called Meat in the big leagues? I mean, like that happened all the time back in the day. Yeah. And so anyway, and I thought it was hysterical. And like, wearing the garter belts and all that sort of stuff under your uniform. These idiots that are in the big leagues, they try anything. If they're scuffling, they're going to try anything. Now, who knows what thong panties they're wearing or whatever nowadays? Who knows? But that's my numero uno, Major League. Bull Durham. I'm sorry. Number 2, The Natural, because Robert Redford, like you said, The Natural. I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was well done. Number 3 for me, Major League. Because of the hilariousness of it. I even used some of the shit like Pedro Serrano, and he used to have the little doll Joe Boo. Well, we had a rookie in Baltimore that had a little freaking doll, and I called it Joe Boo, and I'd hide it from him every day. So I mean, these kind of things just play, and so that's my number 3. Number 4, I loved For the Love of the Game. I just thought that it was a baseball, but then it was a love scene. I mean, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Then next is 61.
At the end, I think we all, and especially you, I think we can relate to Kevin Costner. And
you're at
the end, and it's almost like if I were to use you as the offensive version of that in your last year in St. Louis, man, because you're having this fucking fantastic year and kind of knowing in your mind that this could be it.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing that probably was it. So, definitely. Let's see, where are we here?
The last one was For Love of the Game.
Yeah, no. And, Then after that, I went with 61, because I had to put that in there. It was a great movie. I mean, those guys were unbelievable. I mean, it's just the history of the game, the history of the Yankees. Some of the best players of that era, all on the same team, and pretty amazing. After that, seriously, I mean, you can kind of take your pick. Those are my top picks. I did like the Bad News Bears. That was needless to say when I was younger, but funny shit. I really enjoyed it. Another one too is Trey watched this one all the time. Was what was it? Little Big League. Little Big League, where he was in Minnesota and all that. Trey watched that one all the time when he was a kid. Yeah,
Sandlot was one that.
Yeah, Sandlot. There's another one.
I left off, you left off, and you have that generation who's like under 40, that 30 to 40 crowd that thinks it was the greatest baseball movie ever.
No, I get it. And Trey, like I said, Trey loved it to death. He watched it all the time when he was a kid. So I watched The Sandlot a lot. So, but anyway, so those are my picks. It took us a few weeks to get to it because you made the post. I thought the post was really good. But but I was going to give you my picks and the reason why.
All right. So what I did not put in the post, and I did not even put in the Daily Hustle because I thought it was a bit aggressive. But this is what I would consider one of the greatest movie speeches of all time. It was from your number one movie, Bull Durham.
Bull Durham.
And it was Kevin Costner. The quote, well, I believe in the soul, the cock, the pussy, the small of a woman's back, the hanging curveball, high fiber, good scotch, that the novels of Susan Sontag are self-indulgent, overrated crap. I believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I believe there ought to be a constitutional amendment outlining AstroTurf and the designated hitter. I believe in the sweet spot, softcore pornography, opening your presents Christmas morning rather than Christmas Eve. And I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last 3 days. Good night.
That's awesome. It's so freaking cool.
So good, man.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh. All right. So, dude, we're less than a month away from spring training.
Yep.
I mean, look, there's still a fuck ton of free agents on the market, including Blake Snell, who would be the number one guy, Cody Bellinger. At what point do these guys say, oh, shit, man, I don't have a job?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's somebody that's going to go get the Cy Young winner. Come on, it's like, geez. But, I think that everybody's looking for a discount. They think that if they wait a little longer that Snell's going to come down on his price or whatever. And that's what I'm thinking right now because, I don't see anybody giving him any love.
Is he the type of guy that might say, fuck it, and I'll just wait? Because he doesn't have to pitch. He's a pitcher. Does that make sense? Like, hitters need at-bats. Snell can chill just about as long as you want, and he could go get his bullpen work in with his buddy or his brother. Like, it doesn't really matter. He could throw to one of the 12-year-olds on the 12U team he was coaching a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I get it. The big thing about pitchers, and this is what they use spring training for, is get their pitch count up, get their innings up for the start of the season. But for me personally, look at the guys now. We had guys. Right out the chute. Opening day, the first week of the season, they'd go 100 pitches. Now these guys are on freaking 60 pitch limits and shit. It's like, oh, come on, what the hell are we doing? We had minor leaguers last year. No shit. We had minor leaguers last year because I saw them on 40 pitch limits and they were starting pitchers. I'm like, they should have got their innings up in spring training and they should be on 60, 70, 80 pitches right now.
I could agree more. If I'm a pitcher, from start number one, I want to go 100 pitches. I want 35 starts at 100 pitches.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And don't wear me out to 120, 130. Like, it's just too much. But give me 100 pitches so long as I pitch well enough to earn my 100 pitches for 35 starts.
Yep. No, I get it. Totally agree with you. And you know what? I love those Bulldogs like that. Get out there and freaking earn that son of a gun.
Okay, real quick, Thrill. I want to give the audience an opportunity. We're live. Yeah. We're interactive on No Filter Network. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Caffeine TV, Fubo, we record this live every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Will the Thrill time out there in Backwoods, Louisiana. But I will tell you, if you want the real shit, come here, come live, nofilter.net. It's real easy. Reserve a spot. If you want to knock and you have a movie that you think that we left out that deserves to be on the list, if you just want to share what your number one movie is, I think the beauty of it, Thrill, is that, 61 is number one for me because of what I told you, where I saw a little bit of myself in Mickey, and I saw a little bit of myself in Roger, and a little bit of myself in Whitey Ford. Yet Natural is number two, not because I think it's probably the second greatest movie, but because my mom took me to the theater in Belmont and we watched it, and that was the day I walked out and said I'm going to be a big leaguer. And then we walked right back in the same fucking theater and watched the movie again.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to do this next time we go on No Filter. It should be next week. Matter of fact, I don't think I have anything going on, but I had a fan when I was playing. I had a fan make me Wonder Boy, and I got it upstairs. I got it upstairs in my bat room. I'm gonna go get Wonder Boy and show him to you.
Okay, Victoria, by the way, just chimed in. She's got a great point. And having two daughters myself, it's an absolute fucking crime that I left this off. A League of Their Own.
Yeah, no, I agree. And arguably one of the best lines ever on the face of the planet. No crying in baseball.
Oh, it's so good.
It's awesome.
All right.
Hey, and Linda even jumped in there. We were talking about Pedro Serrano and all that sort of shit. Hats for bats. It's like, how many times did you take your bat and you talk to it or do all kinds of silly stuff to your bat, and Albert Bell used to do them. He used to get his favorite bats and put them in socks and label them and all that. So that's another one of those ones where somebody on the inside told them something and they took it and they ran with it.
So my kids' favorite movie was Angels in the Outfield. They got a kick out of that, man. And they watched it over and over and over and over again. And we got DH on here saying I wore out the VHS tape of Angels in the Outfield. DH, let me tell you something. My kids wore it out so much that Grammy, because Grammy still had a VHS player, Grammy actually got them the DVD of Angels in the Outfield to put in a DVD player so they can watch it anywhere, anytime. That was a really cool movie.
Yeah. And look, here's the beauty of it. You and I made a list. You had 11 freaking movies on there. And, even Josh brought it up. There's 8 Men Out, Pride of the Yankees, League of Their Own. You mentioned 11 movies. The Sandlot and these other ones that we're talking about. There are so many baseball movies, and they really did a good job with most all of the baseball movies. So, it's every one of them has arguing points, and I actually enjoy it. But for me, it was Bull Durham because I knew whoever the shit gave them that advice, they knew what the hell was going on because I laughed and giggled that whole movie.
What about The Rookie? Jim Moore's 38-year-old high school teacher all of a sudden discovers that he throws 98. It's a real story, and I face the fucking guy.
All right, so guess what? I was supposed to have faced him, and I do not remember him. I do not remember anybody from the left side throwing 98 like that out as a reliever. I went back and I beat my brain. I'm like, I didn't face nobody like that. And if he was on that team, me being with the Rangers, I would have faced him or Baltimore or whoever the fuck I was with.
I don't know if he did because look, I faced him in the Arizona Fall League in 2000, 2001. He threw me a first pitch fastball right down the middle. I popped it up. That was it. That was my opportunity to face him. I don't think I ever faced him in a real big league game, but then he ended up getting the big leagues the next year.
Oh, well, there you go. If you faced him in 2000, 2001, I was retired.
Yeah, you retired.
Oh, I wouldn't have faced him. So there you go. Because when you faced a guy from the left side throwing 97, 98, you're like, oh, wait a second, I remember that guy.
Yeah, I got another one here that we haven't mentioned yet. And then I'm going to segue this into something else. Rookie of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the kid? He breaks his arm and he throwing 100.
Yep.
How cool!
Yep.
Like when you're 12, dude, and you watch that shit. That's why the Little Big League and Rookie of the Year, those are two of the better ones. It's just that's every kid's dream, and it's not. You know what's funny is that like when I was 9, I dreamed of playing the big leagues, and then when I was, 20 something, I get to the big leagues, and you fulfilled that dream. But by the time you get there, it's not a dream anymore; it's a reality.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm supposed to be here. I went through the process to get here. It's cool. All the things around it, like it's everything more than I ever dreamt it would be, but it's no longer a dream. Well, when you're 12, it's a fucking dream.
Yeah.
And so when you watch the kid become a manager, and then when you watch, say, in Little Big League, or excuse me, Rookie of the Year, all of a sudden the kid's throwing 100, you're like, wow, what if that happened when I was 12 and I actually did throw 100, and then I got to do whatever. So anyway, I don't know if you know this, but in Little Big League, I feel like we've talked about this before. Pete Crow Armstrong is a stud center fielder for the Chicago Cubs. Huge fucking prospect. His mother was the actual mother in Little Big League.
Wow. I didn't know that.
How about that? So
I didn't know that.
I'm trying to think of the last name, but Billy was a kid, right?
Yeah.
Billy. Billy's mom that hooks up with the Asian veteran guy.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
And so she actually ended up birthing a real fucking big leaguer.
Unbelievable. Hey, another thing too, while we're talking about this, we're going over these movies. Josh, that's in the audience right here. He, for Jesus Christ, I couldn't even tell you how long, he ran a video store. And that was what he did, was baseball movies and just movies in general. So if you got trivia, anybody in the chat room, go ask Josh, because he has the knowledge. So,
well, let's take a moment right now to celebrate Josh in that epic T-top story that has since gone viral across social media platforms.
Josh wasn't in the T-top. That was another partner of mine from Louisiana.
But he had the story. He told you to tell the
T-top. Oh, he's got the story, all right. He made me tell it to you, little bastard.
Okay, so I was going to segue the Cubs information and the Rookie of the Year to an article here. How likely are the Giants to land Bellinger? It's getting late here. It says the Giants made their first big move of the offseason December 14th, inking Korean center fielder Jung-Hoo Lee to a 6-year, $113 million deal. But there's still a sense San Francisco seeks to upgrade its offense. MLB Network insider John Heyman reported Wednesday. If so, could we be seeing Belly in the Bay? Don't rule it out. Susan Slusser, friend of the program of the San Francisco Chronicle, said on Tuesday on MLB Network, the Giants appear to have decent interest in Bellinger, not to mention the financial means to land him.
Why would you have decent interest? He's coming off of a rebounding year. He found his footing again from where he was with the Dodgers. Why would you have decent interest? I'd have a lot of interest, and especially as late as, like we just got through saying, as late as it is now, well, maybe I can sneak in there and get him a little bit cheaper than everybody was looking at before. So there we go.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. And RJ, yes, I appreciate the floating pregnant emoji that he sent across the screen. He sent one of those this morning when we were talking about transgenders. Well, we went. Hey, throw the first two topics this morning on the Daily Hustle were there's like 8 figure skaters from the United States that all of a sudden got gold medals because the Russian doping scandal that they were all guilty of, or not all,
Right.
but at least one of the girls.
Right.
So miraculously, not miraculously, it's just they all got these gold medals. One of the chicks and this is actually a good question for you. Well, so one of the chicks who received the gold medal was saying that, oh, this is unbelievable. This is a dream come true. I've waited my whole life for this. And I'm like, for what? To have to turn in your silver medal to have someone give you a fucking gold? That I mean, did you earn it? I guess. I mean, I don't know, but is that what you really have you really been waiting for this moment?
She wanted the gold medal is what she wanted. She wanted the gold medal.
Dude, she got the gold medal 2 years later. That was a thing. Only because the Russians got caught doping.
Hey, hang with them. That's what they get. That's what they get for cheating.
And then the transgender thing was Bethany Hamilton, a surfer, just legend. She had her arm bit off by a shark, but she had some real strong comments about the transgender surfers who all of a sudden are competing in women's events. And she's like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. Well, the World Surfing Organization was saying if they have their testosterone level at this amount for a year, then they can compete as a chick. And she's like, this is bullshit. The body types are different. The body structures are different. So we're on Bethany Hamilton's side.
There you go. I'm with you.
All right, good. Yes.
Hey, everybody's on that shit too.
What's that? Testosterone?
No, just on the transgender, doing the things across the line and all that.
It's a hot topic right now, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you were born with.
Well, you know how you get the memes. Yeah, but you know how you get the memes. Where all of my idiot friends send me all the memes, and so here is a transgender weightlifter, right? Okay, and it says former male transgender weightlifter Mary Gregory has vowed to come back after being stripped of 4 world titles because he hasn't transitioned enough to be classed as a female. She says, I just need more work done on my snatch.
That's terrible, man.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. That's because you, my idiot friends, that you guys send me that shit, and I got to pass it on to everybody.
Dude, I fucking love it. Hey,
God.
Hey, we're very honest, and RJ is a baller, by the way. So RJ, thank you for sending the man pregnant emoji. Thrill, I got to run. Dude, my daughter's got a race tomorrow morning. I promised her I would be down at the dinner table by 7. It's 7:02. Any final thoughts on this Deuces Wild? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything lingering?
No, hey, look, first and foremost, I want to congratulate and wish the 49ers the best. I hope they nail down the title. In memory of our man Dwight Clark back there, it'd be great to have another title in the Bay Area. I think going over the movies, it was a lot of fun. Brought back a lot of great memories. I know a lot of people jumped in the chat room and were laughing and giggling, cutting up in there. And then we went over some of the young guys that you never know, they might be pitching for the Gigantes here pretty soon. So,
final question. It's 1987. A chick walks into a bar. Sitting on one bar stool is Joe Montana. Sitting on the next one is Dwight Clark. Sitting on the next one is Will Clark. She's a dime. Who walks out with her?
Dwight Clark.
Ha! Fucking love it. I knew it. That's why you and I, hey, this is no filter. It's truth.
Boom. Dwight, you saw how long it took for that freaking answer to pop up, huh?
Oh, so good, man. So good.
Hey, today, this has been like 3 or 4 shows in a row, dude. These have been awesome shows because we don't have any like legitimate baseball content to talk about. And we're going with the flow here, man. It's been awesome these last few shows.
Well, it's Giuseppe Pepe Manueli and I like to talk about. I mean, look, dude. This is why we built this thing, man. To be able to have these conversations, just without a filter, being able to just be dudes and talk shop. And I love your list, man. I really do. Your baseball list is spot on. And the Bull Durham stuff, you're right. Like the more you dig into that.
Yeah, but it was different. But while I'm thinking about it, I just looked in the mirror and all that. Willie Mays, enjoy your day. You deserve every freaking bit of it. You are the GOAT, and you're the first ever 5-tool player. They didn't have none before. You were the first, big man. Congratulations. You're the best.
All right, Terrell. See you next week, dude. Have a fantastic week. Everyone else, Daily Hustle tomorrow morning. I don't know, sometime between 8 and 10. That's it. See ya!